Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.
float, float on. All right. Hey, beautiful people, this is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Saturday Night Dialogues. It is August the 16th, 2025. Folks, we got an amazing call for you tonight. And just like the song, probably folks on YouTube you don't know, but the song Float On by the Floaters. We're going to touch on that tonight, showing proof that exchange rates will float and how they float. And we're going to get into it. Let's get into the call. Let's get rocking and rolling. Father God, we thank you. As always, we give you grace, give you honor, give you glory. We adore you. We appreciate you. We honor you. Without you, we will not be here. Without you, not only this opportunity, but just life, breath, existence does not even happen without you, Father. So we just want to thank you with all humility. We ask that you allow each and every person that is joining us tonight to be in the right mind, be in the right spirit, be in receivement of the information that we're going to share tonight, and we hope that it resonates even with just one person, so that there is something that they can do to take this information, prepare themselves and their family and their generations to come based on the facts that we always share with the proof that they can validate. And we give you all the honor and the glory in your precious name. Amen. All right, beautiful folks, let's get into it. The quick announcements. Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room. Of course, the new days is Monday through Wednesday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. When we first started this room a year ago, we literally were 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Just think about it, folks. Anywhere in Dinar land does anyone have access 8 hours a day for 6 days a week to actual facts and information? Because there's so much facts, there's so much information, and there's no hiding, there's no open the room then close the room because someone had a question. No, we welcome questions. So then we went from recently to the Friday, Monday through Friday, and then to Thursday, now to Wednesday. And folks, when the doors close for good, we're gone for good. So, and that is where the 8 steps we share, the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues Room, we share the 8 steps there to prepare yourself to meet the actual bankers. That is where we break down Goldilocks articles, explain them. People have questions. We break it down for people. That's where the tribe is, the leaders of the room who have already established their relationships with the actual bankers that will exchange their currencies, and the wealth managers that will grow their wealth. They reach back and help others to do the same. Then we have D's room, where D drops articles throughout the day on what's happening in the global markets, of course. And then we have the crypto finance room, which gives Rose Big Dog anything related to crypto. That's the room you go to. Then we have Goldilocks Global Banking News. Of course, that is the daily podcast for the articles by Goldilocks. We bring it to you in audio form on a podcast so that you can understand it, you can follow, you can understand exactly what is happening, what is transpiring on a daily basis. The podcast, the channel is over 1.7 million views, over 80 countries that are subscribed, and over 19,000 subscribers. And so it's a blessing that we are able, Goldilocks, Wiley, myself, and the tribe, we enjoy being able to bring these facts to you folks so that you can be prepared for this blessing in the proper manner. And let's get into it, folks. So tonight, we have, just so you know, we're going to touch on proof how exchange rates will be calculated and how exchange rates are calculated, folks. We're going to show you right from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, how rates in the floating system where rates will float. We're going to show you directly from the IMF. We're going to show you where Vietnam has not only requested, but Vietnam has implemented reforms to prepare for the RV. And it's all, we've showed you last Saturday how they've requested it, how they've been requesting to exchange, to revalue their currency through market reforms. And tonight, we're going to show you directly from the Prime Minister of Vietnam, where he made a directive to the Central Bank of Vietnam on how to preparing for. It's not in the words RV, because remember, that's not bank language. But you're going to see the language tonight where the Prime Minister gave a directive to them. You got to remember, the central banks are the governing bodies of the currencies. You're going to see what the Prime Minister of Vietnam made a directive to his central bank related to the Dong. All right. Then we're going to get into Iraq with they went live with their new trading system that had to be active before the RV. We're going to show that to you. All right, folks. And we have two amazing members. One I see so far. We have Tam Tam and then Flopper Jopper, the baby-faced assassin. I don't see him, but let's go to Tam Tam, who's going to bring her amazing update and share it with us. Tam Tam, if you can unmute my good lady. If you are able, let's see, can we get you? Okay. Tam Tam, all you got to do is unmute. I know this is your first time. You probably don't know how to, but you'll figure it out. You sharp. You done had them good meetings with your wealth manager, them contacts. So I know you're sharp enough to do that. You're sharp enough to unmute. All right. I hope. Tam, you might be having some technical difficulties. Let's see. All right. 1 second, folks. I'm going to type into the room and see if Tam Tam can see it. 1 second. Okay. Tam, I just typed into the room. Looks like you went out and came back in, Tam. If you can see my message in the room. Okay. All right, Tam. Okay, you're back at the top, Tam. So it's like you're trying to unmute, but you're not Tam, go out. If you can hear me, go out of the room and then come back in. Just go out and come back in. If you can hear me.
Okay, I figured it out.
I knew you were smart. I knew you can do it. I had faith in you. I had faith in you.
I had to get on my phone to do it. I have Telegram pulled up on my laptop, but I wasn't able to figure it out on my laptop, so I just pulled it up on my phone.
See, that's why the phone is smart. You know,
yes,
because you
yes.
see,
Even though sometimes it's not.
Right. You doing all right, young lady?
I am doing well. It has been a very, very prosperous time. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How long have you been in the room?
I want to say maybe about a total of a month and a half. I spent a couple of weeks just kind of sitting in, reading, listening, checking out Wiley's notes. And then when I was able to take time out of my day and get certain things in order, like, the tier 1 bank situation.
Yeah.
That's when I went on ahead and made myself known. And I was like, hey, I'm here.
Right. You jumped in. And it was like, you posted that. I think you posted at one time, you felt like after you had your initial contacts, your introductory contact with the wealth manager, before that, I think you mentioned it felt unattainable. Like no way this was possible. But then
yes.
you followed the steps and you ended up making some great contacts. And a matter of fact, if I recall, that you made contact with the wealth manager that is willing to drive 3 hours to meet you.
I did actually, yes. He has not come this way yet, but we have had multiple phone conversations. And as a matter of fact, I spoke with him earlier this week, and it was to the point, there was one point on the call where he's trying to, find out where my investment is coming from. And I remember telling him like, ooh, I want to tell you so badly, but it's not time yet.
Right.
And he was like, okay, take your time. We'll talk next week. He's like, but I can't really put any planning fully together for you until I have some type of numbers. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You already I think you mentioned that in the room when we set you straight on how to handle that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now what I would like for you to do is to go back to the beginning. What did you do to schedule your initial contacts, and then kind of take us through how those communications went, if you can do that, because people don't know. Again, they don't know where you are. They don't know where you started to where you are now, and it will help someone else because a lot of other people may be in the same shoes as you.
Honestly, what worked the best for me, because I did a couple different things. My mom is actually the one who referred me to this room. I am so grateful for her. But
What's your mom's name?
Her name? I don't know what her name is.
Not her real
here.
name, but her Okay,
I don't know
gotcha,
what her name is on here because I see her name.
Okay. Oh yeah. She's in your contacts. Okay. You probably got her mom.
Yeah, it's Ma. It's Ma. That's what we're gonna call her, Ma. But I started out by talking to my tier 1 banker and trying to set up an appointment with their wealth manager, which it flopped before it ever got the chance to try to float. And I just was like, you know what? I'm leaving it alone. It's very obvious you're not my guy. So then I went through, I touched base with the person that my mom put me in contact with, and we've had a few conversations. And I'm still going to communicate with him more because I have questions for him, and he's helping me get my son involved. I'm like,
wow.
all right, let's do it. Giving me advice because he's closer to the same age. And then from there, I went on Google and I
Uh-huh.
looked up the top
Uh-huh.
wealth management firms in the country. Actually, I don't
Uh-huh.
even think I put in the country. I just think I put the top wealth management firms because I'm not
Uh-huh.
just looking at staying in this country.
There you go.
Uh,
There you. Oh yeah, you did mention that. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Keep
yeah.
going.
So then I picked about 4 to 6. I don't remember the exact number. And I just
Mm-hmm.
went to their websites. I looked through their stuff and then I sent them an inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
And I had roughly about, I want to say I had 2 of them
Okay.
contact me.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the 2 that I have been talking back and forth to.
Okay.
One of them, he's the one that I have talked to the most.
The most.
And
Gotcha.
yeah, and it's been a really, really awesome time, to the
Mm-hmm.
point where this last conversation that he had with me, he's like, you know, I really like the dynamic between us. He's like, because you like to learn and I like to teach. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I remember the very first phone conversation we had
Mm-hmm.
was me telling him, I love the fact that you don't mind teaching because I like to learn. And me
Mm-hmm.
hearing you teach me and inform me on the very first time we have spoken shows me
Mm-hmm.
that you are passionate about what you do.
That's right.
And I was
That's
like,
right.
that's exactly one of the things that I'm looking for. Like, it brought me to tears. And then I
Mm.
started like using bait, as I call
Mm-hmm.
it.
Uh-huh.
Dipping my toes in the water, but I
Right.
put out little pieces here and there. And I didn't,
Mm-hmm.
um, I've used each and every communication moment
Mm-hmm.
to learn
Mm.
how to work with these people so that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just putting it all out there at once and they're giving it all back to me at once, because I can't build a lasting relationship that way. So what I did, instead of giving them all of the questions at once, I might,
Mm-hmm.
like, in an email, I might say, hey, how you doing? Um, this is what's going on with me right now. And I'll just give them like a little blurb about something that's going on in my day, ask them how things are going on in their day, text them a couple of questions off of the list of Wiley's questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I have a question that came up in my brain about it, I
Uh-huh.
might ask them that. And so then
Okay.
they'll answer that way. On the
Mm-hmm.
phone conversations, the first time we talked, I was actually on the bus on the way home from work, and I decided to take a walk home because it was going to be roughly about 20-30 minutes if I walked, which was perfect.
Okay.
Exercise and a conference call. Great. I
Plenty of
love
time.
it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have my questions right there with me, and I let him know, like, hey, I'm on a walk right now. I don't have my questions with me. um
Mm-hmm.
is it okay if it's like, I would love to email these to you? And he's like, yeah, you can email them to me, or the next time we talk, you are more than welcome to just ask them to me if you don't feel like typing them. And I already had them in my computer, so I just let him know, hey, okay, I will text them to you. Oh, well, I'll email them to you, but give me a couple of days because I've got some major homework I have to get turned in for school right now. Once I've got that underway, then we're good to go. And he's like, yeah, take your time.
Mm-hmm.
So I emailed him a couple of questions,
Mm-hmm.
and then we talked again. And then I sent him a list. And I did this for each one of them. It just so happens that both of them, they called me. And the first time I was on a walk. With the second wealth manager, I was actually sitting right at my laptop, had just pulled the questions up so I could email them to the first wealth manager. And so I was like, it's funny. I've got these questions right here in front of my face. I can read some of them off to you. He's like, yeah, sure. So that's what we did. We kind of went back and forth with that. And I remember with him, he asked me, this is wealth manager number 3. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Um, he, we get on the phone and he immediately goes into like, hey, yeah, so what do you want to know about the business? What can I tell you? And I said, the first thing I would like to know, tell me something about yourself. And his immediate response was, I love the fact that you asked me that.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And let me know that he's the kind of person that sends like Christmas cards and things like that, things of sentiment. And I was like, yes, I love that. That's awesome. So back to the first one. I call him number one.
Okay.
Back to number one. I've gotten to the point working with him, and the one that my mom actually referred me to has helped me learn how to individualize each interview. You don't, it works better for me if I don't cookie cutter it, because it's not always going to be the same interfacing. Sometimes I might have, 4 or 5 email conversations before we ever have one phone conversation, or it might be one email and then a bunch of phone conversations, or a mix of the two. So I emailed number one my questions that I had left, that I had gone through and, edited based on what I had already asked him or what he had already answered. And then I also sent him my list of goals. And the very first thing I put on my list of goals was, I want to create the best crew to guide and assist me in creating and maintaining my family's legacy. And when he read that, he was like, that's exactly what you're doing right now. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
I love it.
So, and the second one, he actually got back to me, not too long ago. And he's like, yeah, I will get back to you next week with answers to your questions. Okay, cool. I kind of have a feeling I know where my ties lie right now. I'm very big on signs from the universe, and there were different things that pointed me in this person's direction. And I'm like, okay, I like this. I like where this is going. Even to the point where, when I told you I put out bait. So a couple of things that I did in my goals was, I listed the fact that I want to own houses in multiple countries. I listed the assets that I already have. And granted, I may have only bought, $15 worth, or I may have only spent $15 to have some gold. But the point is, I dipped my toe in. I've got gold. Doesn't matter how much gold.
No,
I've got
exactly.
gold.
Right.
I've got
He
crypto.
doesn't need to know it. All he knows is that you have the gold. You have the crypto. Yeah.
Exactly. And I even went as far to let him know which cryptos I have, so that he knows where my mindset is. Let him know, like, hey, I've got this kind because I know this. Yeah, I've got this. I've got this. And
so what you did was, I'm sorry to cut you off. What you did was
go ahead.
you let him know in your own way that that you are intelligent, that you are serious, and so that he understands right away that you're just not no tire kicker. And
Correct.
so you gave him that with the way that you communicated with each of them. Like you said, it wasn't cookie cutter. It was designed. You felt your way through. You sent Wiley's questions to the one, which were the base, not all the questions, but a few. And then the second one, when he called, you were already having the questions in front of you to discuss with the first one. And then so you set the foundation of the relationship with both of them. Are you going to interview other wealth managers as well?
As they come along, yes.
Now, when you say as they come along, how are they going to come along? Or are you going to reach out to them?
Well, remember, I put out like 5 or 6 different blasters to different places, different feelers, which I may go and do again.
Okay,
I've
gotcha.
already looked up multiple wealth managers from the city I'm currently in, and I'm not seeing anything that like makes my ears perk up. So I'm like, okay, I'm just kind of working with what I have, see where it goes, because right now I'm really liking what I'm seeing. And that's a lot.
Have you reached out to any private wealth managers?
These are private wealth managers.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep,
okay,
all 3 of them, private wealth managers.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, excellent. Let's get Wiley in here. Wiley, you want to jump in here, my good man?
Hey, good evening, Freedom. Good evening, Tim.
Hey, good evening, sir.
Hey, so I think it was bow number 2 or 3. You said you wanted homes in different areas. So you do they have the ability to do that? Get you that golden passport in Europe or Nevis or any of these places you're talking about? I mean,
They do.
that was part of their wheelhouse. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Um, so you're looking at somebody that's probably
Say
far
that
larger
again.
than what I'm thinking.
Say that
But
again.
no, I'm just trying to gauge who you're with a bit and what all they can do for you. But if they already have the ability to do that, you've got a lot of runway for growth with them. Because if
Yeah.
they're able to do that and you're kind of gauging them and what you're telling them you want, they're sitting there in their mind saying, okay, I got somebody that's thinking jurisdictionally. I got somebody who's thinking larger than just keeping it here. I got somebody who's thinking about tax implications, tax engineering, wealth engineering. They're going to need trust. They're going to need business. They're going to need holding companies. He's already won in the gears. That's why some of these guys are like, wow, I wish you could tell me what it is so I could really put brass tacks and numbers together and start just drilling down in this. So you got him. I'm trying to say you've reeled him in, you've hooked him, and now he's trying to reel you back in. You know
Well,
what I mean? He's trying to like, give me more, Tam. Give me
yes,
more because I see where you're going. I'm understanding, and you're giving him the nuanced clues he's looking for.
yes. And to the point where before we got off our phone conversation, he did let me know that they have international clients, which I was like, yes, that's perfect. Before we got off the phone call, um, I asked him if he could help me go ahead and start setting up accounts. I was like, if I can set them up now, I would rather have them in place so that when the investment comes in, my money is not hitting my bank account because I don't want that smoke. And he was like, yeah, you don't want those calls coming in because they will try to call you and pester you and sell you all the products that they have and they don't have your best interest at heart. I said, exactly.
And I think that's what a lot of this community's in for. They have no idea what wealth brings, and they have no idea the leeches that are coming for them, and
Right.
they don't even know it yet. And that's why I
Mm.
preach this consistently with freedom. You best get a plan. You best get structured because there are parasites coming your way. When they
Yeah,
see money, they will start making promises they cannot deliver. That's
I
why it's
did.
best to have a relationship prior and get
Yeah.
structured prior, and you're on the right path, Tam. You truly, truly are. And I'm very surprised in the month and a half what you've done.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's an awesome testament, Wiley, to her being a student and paying attention to what you share in the room. She dug into Wiley's wisdom and notes and followed Goldilocks and in the room. It's a great testament
It
to you,
looks like
Tam.
she went back to week 1 of what I started talking about with golden passports and entities that can do that and all this and some of the cost of
Mhm.
this and jurisdictionals. It sounds like she went back and became a student of that a bit because I haven't heard
Mhm.
anybody talk about that in a while.
And what's
Mhm.
interesting is I actually didn't make it that far back into your notes. I have just, one of my lifelong goals has been having home/business in multiple countries.
And you
Mhm.
realize what he says that you don't want that smoke. When you set up this stuff properly, and none of it's to you and you had them set it up, you become invisible, and
Mhm.
eventually it becomes a ghost because they will chase vapor because they'll never find out who set all that up.
Right.
Mhm.
That's
And
the
that's
beauty
what
of
I'm
letting your LLC to your trust to your holding company, your foundation, or whatever you want to call it. They can make all this disappear, especially when you float it through 3 different countries. That's how the
right.
wealthy do it. That's why they always appear like, how's this guy
Right.
have no money, but he has money? That's what they're doing.
Hmm. And even to the point where, so I asked him how, how much contact would I have, how much access would I have to him? He said he's always available. So I thought that was awesome. And I ended up, even though I know we're supposed to talk next week, I went on ahead this morning. I woke up and I emailed him and I'm like, hey, how's your day going? I hope your weekend is starting out right. I have a question that popped up in my head as soon as I woke up this morning, and I asked him, what do you think is better to invest in, NASDAQ or Forex? And which one do you advise?
Mm. I like the leading question.
Excellent.
See where he points you.
Excellent question. Yeah.
But here's another one for you, Tam, and I want you to ask him this, okay?
Okay. Hold on. Let me get my paper and notes.
Let me know when you're ready.
Oh wait, I can't use that paper. That's a school paper. I'll get in trouble for using that one. I'm not going to use your school paper.
You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ask them about a private family office or a fractional private family office if it's available. And if they start asking about numbers, say, let's calculate, let's do it on 5 million. What's that look like? What's that going to cost you?
Fractional private family office
A
or
private
private.
family office or a fractional? A fractional is where you have a private family office, but he's helping multiple people, not
Okay.
just you. A private family office, that guy's dedicated to just you 100%. It's going to cost you more in the long run, but all this stuff we're talking about, it's
Mm-hmm.
all built into it. All the
Okay.
structuring, all the visas, all the passports, all the
Okay.
jurisdictional, it's all
Okay.
included. They're
So
all in
now
there.
I have a question. Would the private family office be the same thing as a family business?
No.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Just ask about them, see what he offers, see if they have it. And if they just ask you a rough ballpark number, say, well, what would that look like on just 5 million per se? How does that break out? What does that look
Okay.
like? Start giving yourself some ideas of some numbers and things like that so you can determine which way might work for you. And it's easier if you're starting out to go with one of these because it's
Mm,
all right there. And all you have to say is, I'm looking for this, 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 this. They're like, yeah, we do all that. Okay, put that in
okay.
my family office. I want all of that.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Beautiful. You got some homework, Tam Tam.
Yes, I'm excited.
She's already moving ahead of the class.
I see.
He's trying to move past Ty. She's trying to go past Lady Unique. She's trying to pass, Peculiar Ram. She's trying to just boom, month
Look,
and a
I'm trying
half.
to have all of us going together.
I got you. No, I'm happy for you. I truly am, Tam. You come into this. You haven't been with us long, and you're saying the right things. You truly
Mhm.
are. You're doing the right things. You're going and interviewing this, and the key thing I liked is you're catering each interview to the individual and the entity you're going to. So you're changing it up each time. So so it's more fine tuned. It's not just cookie cutter. And none of this will be cookie cutter. That's why we could never go do all this for you because we're trying to fit you in a one size shoe and that just don't work. Not in
Right.
wealth.
And
And
speaking
I
of
can
cookie cutter,
understand that. Yeah.
for folks listening to this, don't attempt to do exactly what she did or say what Wiley just said to her to say. This is custom made for Tam and her situation.
Yeah, exactly what I told Tam will work
Mm-hmm.
for Tam. That's not going to work for everybody. So don't go try that because you're gonna trip yourself up.
Right.
Tam's got the legwork under her and got some groundwork done with this guy
Mm-hmm.
that he's already talked about some of this. I'm just going to put her on another playing field with him to
Right.
show him she's astute and she's studying.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually the very first conversation we had. I made sure, and I do this with all of them, I make sure to let them know, like, hey, I don't know anything about this. I know the first one that I interviewed with, the one that was referred to me, I told him, I was like, look, if you were to meet me on the street, you would think I was every other Joe Schmo. Like, I've got a part-time job. I have piercings. I've got crazy hair and tattoos. You'd never think about it, but I am changing my life and I'm coming into some money and I need help.
And that's what they're there for, to help you. The way, and just like you, when you mentioned to him your goals, what they are, and then when you asked him about himself personally, he can tell right away that you're just not that, you're not the average person on the street. You got
Yeah.
intelligence with you. So
Yeah.
congratulations, you did an amazing.
Tam, you have
Thank
him
you.
confused a bit because he's like, she knows the inside playbook. She's saying all the proper things that are inside to us. It's inside knowledge. How does she know the verbiage? How does she know this? She's not what she portrays herself to be, and that intrigues them because of your intelligence that you hit them with. So forget about the package that you portray. They're looking past that as well. They see you as an equal in skill set.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because then they can look at me and feel comfortable. He already told me that he can tell I'm a good person because I don't put up fronts. I don't put on, the makeup, face paints and all the things. I don't have any reason to. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help you.
No, and I like when you ask the personal question first. You kind of flip the script a little bit. I usually put it towards the end, but it's important we do that because that gauges what is this person like outside of the business. What is that character? Does it does it match me? Does it match the way I operate? That's what we're
Mm-hmm.
looking for in that personal question. How are they going to answer that? And I love how he answered. He goes, "Hey, I really like keeping in touch with my clients. I send cards, I do this." That tells me this guy doesn't have clients. He has personal friendships and he takes it
Right,
seriously what he's doing for his people.
right,
So
right,
important to have a relationship like that. Don't be another number. Be a
right.
friend. Have a friend.
Yeah. Like I plan on being on the beach and, they're sitting next to me and our kids are sitting there playing in the water and we're sipping Mai Tais or something, whatever drink it is with an umbrella in it. And we're talking business and, what our next cookout's going to be.
And
There you go.
that's a great relationship to have.
Yeah,
And you'll grow
absolutely.
some into that. Some you'll walk away from because they no longer suit. But it doesn't mean you still can't maintain the friendship.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Tam. Keep going, girl. You got it. You got it.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, and the best is yet to come. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Tam,
Thank you.
was it
Thank
you
you.
who said that you didn't realize you could breathe until you did this and you didn't know you weren't really, was that you who posted that?
No, I
Oh,
don't recall
that was
saying that.
Main Mama. That's who said that. I can't wait to
Mhm.
talk to her about that because I
Yeah.
think that's a sense a lot of people feel. You,
Mhm.
I think you have a good vibe about you that, like you say, you don't put on an air. You're very upfront and forthright. And I
Right.
kind of see that with you. You're very
Mhm.
genuine in how you approach it, and there's no air. I think they gathered that too, and I'm just gathering that off
Mhm.
a phone call. So I can
Oh,
only
thank you.
imagine the conversation they had with you and what their takeaway was.
Mhm.
Yeah. So my mom would tell you, oh yeah, she's gotten as far as she had because of the Aries in her. She just runs headfirst into things all the time. And that's pretty much what happened. Like I sat on it for a while because she and I had talked about this like last year. And I was like, yeah, okay, mom, I wasn't in the right headspace. And I knew I wasn't. I was going through a lot of crazy stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, okay. You keep doing it and then let me know. And we come full circle, a year later. And I was like, you know what? All right, here we go. And I just hit the ground running. Boom.
Is your
Good.
And
mom
that,
here?
Yeah. Hey, Tam,
yes,
the question
yes,
Freedom and I want to know is the $1 million question. Is Tam's mom sorted? Does she have her wealth manager? Have you beat her to
she,
the punch?
um, I know she does have some lined up. I do not know if she has sorted out exactly which one she is going with, but
Okay.
we do keep in contact with it. And I know we're going to work in tandem with some of them because we have a couple of projects that we have been having in the makings for years.
Is
That
she here right now?
She is. I couldn't tell you what her name is. Maybe she'll text me. I know she can
Hey,
hear me. Maybe she'll text me and let me know
hey,
her name.
hey, mom, raise your hand so we can acknowledge you.
But here's the bigger thing, Tam. Don't
Hmm.
be afraid to go get sorted and say, hey, my mom could use some
Raise your
help.
hand. How do you raise your hand?
Oh well,
Hi.
you just
Yeah.
you just raised your voice.
Oh, my. Oops.
That's okay. How you doing, Silver Fox?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing.
Good.
We're
That's
doing
right.
fantastic. Are you proud of your daughter?
Absolutely. I couldn't be prouder.
That's so
Yeah.
sweet.
We're
I
Speaking
proud
of,
of
couldn't be
her.
prouder.
thank you.
Yeah.
Your granddaughter says hi, by the way.
Hi, Nico.
It's a family affair.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
I do my best to incorporate her on calls. I've started even talking to her. Like, I'm like, hey, as you get funds, I want you to take certain amounts and I'm going to show you where to invest and I'll show you how to start working these things. What kind of charities, if you could have a charity, what would it be? And these are things that I've been asking her about for years and she's already got that down pat. Like, I talked to number one about one of her charities and I think it would be great. She has come up with it all on her own. And there are things out there that are similar, but they don't do what this does.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love it. They're both with you and your mom. Multiple generations that will be affected and taken care of from what mom has done, what you've done. It's beautiful. I love it, Wiley.
And Tam, you can also dovetail your daughter or children into that private family office, and they will teach them about the wealth.
He actually, he was telling me about that. Number one was telling me about that because I asked him if there was any way to get the children started outside of like family foundations, because we talked about family foundations and he let me know that they definitely have different programs and classes for children.
Yeah, and I take it your children are all under 18, correct?
No, my oldest is 21.
Oh, okay. Any of the younger children under that age, you can hire them and actually take tax rebates and deductions for them for hiring them into the company.
Very
So
interesting.
I want to say it's 14 and a half, 15,000. Don't quote me. I don't know for sure. I just used to do it with my children, and I don't know what it's up to now. But you have the ability to hire your children to work as different entities within your own businesses. So that's the tax mitigation piece you want to look for, because that way your children now have skin in the wealth game that you're creating. And this takes them to being ownerships instead of spenders.
Gotcha.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the sooner you can bring them in, the better off the longevity is going to be.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Silver Fox and Tam Tam, the mom and daughter tandem team. Congratulations, beautiful ladies. Congratulations.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So awesome. And mom, you have any questions?
No.
You good to go, mom?
I'm good to go. I've got things moving right along.
Okay, excellent. Thank you both so much for coming on tonight, Mom, Silver Fox, and Tam Tam. We're gonna get into these articles and everything that you guys have been doing with your wealth managers. You're gonna see how it all ties in. And Tam, quick question before we jump into, now that you're on your way. If you could, you're very sharp. If there was any piece of advice you can get to anyone listening to this that were where you were at one point, just waiting, what would you tell that person now, based on your experience now?
I would tell them, first and foremost, breathe. Just like you say, take it slow. For me, this is moving slow. But take it slow, put one foot in front of the other, have faith in yourself. Even when you hear those moments, those little demons in the back of your head saying, you're not going to be able to do this, immediately shut it down and say, no, this is my time. I'm worth this. I deserve it. And I have it. Not I will have it. I have it. And say thank you. Just be grateful for it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You're welcome. Yes, indeed. All right, folks.
6 weeks in, Freedom, and she's already going to surpass the number of Bo's Lady Unique's got.
that's saying a lot, because she got her starting 5. Lady Unique got her starting 5.
She could still go levels deeper if she wanted to, but she's like, no, I think I'm good for now. But they're all like, hey, slow down, let us do our job.
Right.
She's like, well, let me pull out my binder and just tell you a few more things I'm looking for. And they're like, hold on, girl, I can see Tam getting there. I really can. You give her the same time, I guarantee she's gonna be where Lady Unique's at.
Yeah. They're gonna be They're gonna be approaching her. Wealth managers going to be stalking you like they stalk Lady Unique at the gas station, the grocery store, convenience store, smoke shop.
Sending little
You'll be like,
pictures.
"Oh,
I
hey
see
Tam, girl,
you.
how about all that talk we did last week? We gonna do anything? I'm busy. I'm washing my hair."
It is so funny because I will message them and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I've been super busy with school."
See, I
Oh, you get
knew
it.
it. She's
This is
already
Lady
doing it.
Unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Lady Unique 2.0.
Yep. Nah, Tam, good for you. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. You're absolutely right. You're worthy of this. You deserve it just as much as anybody else. And just know that no one will do for you more than that, more than you'll do for yourself. Keep
That's right.
going. Just
That's
keep
right.
going. Keep that
Yes,
belief. Keep believing in yourself. There's no such thing as can't and no.
That's
that's right.
right. Just
That's
keep
right.
on swimming. Keep on
Yes.
swimming.
Absolutely.
Congratulations, young lady.
Yeah,
Keep
it's
on.
awesome.
We're here for
Thank
you.
you.
Anything you need, questions, guidance, we're here for you. And as folks listening to this, this young lady has her own bankers. No secret sources, none of that. She has her own bankers. The power is in her hands and no one else. Congratulations, young lady.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's rock and roll. That's amazing, Wiley. It's just
I
I love
love
it.
that. And I love how she's changed the script to fit herself. And
Mm-hmm.
she's taken one or two questions. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Appreciate the conversation last week, but something popped into my mind. Boom.
Yeah.
How about this? Oh, and by the way, I got these two others. Bam. And it
Uh-huh.
gets right back to her. And she keeps that conversation to keep the door swinging
Mm-hmm.
both ways. So it's a communication. It's become a way that they're learning to communicate with one another. This is like a dance, folks. And Tam's
Mm-hmm.
learning to dance with her new beau. And she's going back and forth. And she gives him the question. He gives her some give and take. And that's how they're going to grow and build this relationship stronger than a relationship. They're going to build it into a very beautiful friendship.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's not she's it's just I love how she keeps the line of communication open. And she's engaged. She wakes up and has questions. Okay, let me send him this question right now. Let me email it to him. They
Absolutely.
love that, people. They love this. They love it when you communicate with them like that.
It's showing she's engaged, she's studying, and she's taking to heart the feedback she's getting from him. And he's
Right.
saying, I can mold this person. I loved
Mm-hmm.
her mission statement and what her goal was, and that was generational wealth for her and her family. That's what we do. I can teach her that. I can build her that, and I so want to be that.
Right. Yeah, I love it. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I do
Love it.
too. I mean, sounds like
Love
she hit pay dirt right out of one, two, three. Well, sounds like
it.
all three of them are hitting their grade
Yeah.
up in the first bank guy, but still
Right.
awesome. I
Right.
love it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right. All right, beautiful folks. We are going to get into this meat and potatoes. Uh, this is organic meat, not weasel meat. We're gonna get into these potatoes, some gravy, on proof of how exchange rates will be calculated, and proof how Vietnam has, in their own way, the prime minister gave a directive for his central bank that governs the Vietnamese dong to prepare for the dong's rates that will change. That's not. I'm saying that because I don't want to use dinar land language that we use, but you'll see it what I'm talking about. And then Iraq with their new trading. That's right, trading system. And there's a key word that I want you all to remember that you're going to hear tonight, and it's related to currency values. The term is market based, market oriented, market access, market. If you've been paying attention, you saw where President Trump several weeks ago, about a little over a month ago or so, when he announced the trade deal, the tariff deal with Vietnam, he announced in all caps that the United States will have full market access to Vietnam. Several of other countries that will participate in their currencies that will revalue in the new system, they're all preparing to do the same thing to allow full market access. But it's key terms. If you need to write it down, if you're going to memorize it, you're going to hear it tonight several times, including directly from the Prime Minister of Vietnam. And we're going to get into what that means. Market. Let me just tell you right now, market access. Just think of your home, or a home. You may not have one, but just think of a home that you put on the what in order to sell. You put it on the market. And the market determines the value of your home. Your home. So when it's appraised, it's the market that determines the value. Or it's like if you ever want to sell, you trade in a car. You trade in the car for another car, and you look at the Kelley Blue Book value, and it tells you what the market value of that vehicle is. When you go in to try to trade it in at the dealership, they'll never give you the market value. They're going to give you below market value so that they can turn around and flip that car and then put it on the market and make a profit. So they'll buy it low from you. Let's say if the Kelley Blue Book value says it's $15,000, the dealership may say, "Oh no, you got your tires a little bald, the brakes a little weak, here a little stutter in the transmission. We'll give you $9,000." You're like, "No, but the Kelley Blue Book, the market says 15." They stick to the guns and give you 9. And if you trade that vehicle in, they're gonna put some tires on there. They're going to spit shine it, buffer the hood, put it on the lot, and sell it for 17 over market. That's how they make profit. Same thing with currencies. Vietnam, Iraq, and these other countries that have been devaluing their currencies because they're doing the same thing what a dealer would do. They will price their currencies below the market value so that on the back end, in trade, when these countries like Vietnam export their goods all over the world, they can sell those products at a premium above market. So that spread, that difference, that margin is profit between the bottom dollar rate that they have and what they sell their products for on the market. You're going to see this tonight. And this is where the currency floats will provide the opportunities for us to exchange. But it's all about the market, how the market determines. All right. Peculiar Ram, if you see you can unmute, young lady. Let's get into it and show them.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. You sound clear. Your voice is fresh. I don't hear no slurring in your words. So that means you didn't have no wine just yet. So we good. All right.
Not yet. We good.
All right. Now, what we are going to do, folks, we know, of course, first and foremost, the root of it all, currency revaluation, right from the Trump administration of April of 2024, black and white. Let's get right into it, young lady.
Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of a potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit, said one former Trump administration official, adding that Lighthizer and his team are the primary advocate for the approach. But weakening the dollar could have other far-reaching consequences, from sending consumer prices for imported products soaring to inviting retaliation from other countries and threatening the dollar's role as world reserve currency, which would undermine U.S. sanctions on adversaries like Iran and Russia.
Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for the members of the potential second Trump administration. From the viewpoint of an overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit. All right. Now. So what we just shared into the room, folks, we are going, we're going to set this up for you so you understand when after we share this with you, we're going to get into Vietnam and what's coming directly from Vietnam and what's coming from directly from Iraq related to the market. Remember, so this is right here from the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. This is directly with the link. If anyone, I know the Sniper and Lady Unique and Zach and others, and they're going to dig into this later. But this specifies, explains, details how currency exchange rates are determined when it comes to floats. And folks, that's what it's going to be for these currencies, except for the dinar, which will be a fixed rate. And we're going to explain that to you here as well. Go, young lady, manage floating.
Manage floating with no predetermined path for the exchange rate.
Oh, that's very important. I want to emphasize this. Managed floating with no predetermined path for the exchange rate. What this means, folks, is that there is no set rate when a currency floats. The expectation, and Goldilocks has even shown it, where the expectation is that currencies will float for 3 to 5 years. So meaning that there's no predetermined rate, exchange rate. Why? Because the market will be constantly evolving and growing. Therefore, the rate will continue to evolve and grow as well. Now, some rates in the very beginning are expected to go down before they go up. In fact, some are doing that now. There's volatility and fluctuations that are occurring. That's because of the tariffs. That's because of the different agreements that still aren't met yet. That's because of the new changes into the new digital banking system. In order for rates to begin to move into their real values and float, there has to be a shock to the system that has already occurred with these tariffs, which has caused rates to begin to fluctuate up and down, up and down. That's what we want. We needed that shock to the system. It's like if you sleep, and these rates have been sleep. It's like you're sleeping in the bed. You try to wake. It's like if Peculiar Ram tries to wake up Judah, her baby boy, and he's snoring and he's not waking up. She might have to pour some water on him and to shock his system for him to wake up. Like, get your behind up, boy. Time to go to school.
Get up.
And then when you first wake up, you're not steady on your feet. You're staggering, and that's the rates. They're not steady yet. All right. Now, the monetary authority. When she talks about the monetary authority here, the monetary authority is the central bank, because they are the authoritative figure that controls the currency. So when she reads the monetary authority, just understand it's the central bank. Go ahead, young lady.
The monetary authority attempts to influence the exchange rate without having a specific exchange rate path or target. Indicators for managing the rate are broadly judgmental. Example, balance of payments position, international reserves, parallel market developments. An adjustment may not be automatic. Intervention may be direct or indirect.
Intervention may be direct or indirect. This means, folks, the intervention of the central bank to intervene and control the exchange rate. So it may be direct or indirect. See, folks, the central banks controls the rates of the dinar, the dong, and all these other currencies. For the countries, let me be specific. For the countries that do not have a market-based economy like the U.S., where the global markets determine the rate of the U.S. dollar. The Federal Reserve Bank doesn't intervene to control the rate of the U.S. dollar, because the U.S. is a market-based economy. So the global markets determine the strength and value of the U.S. dollar. But now that's changing because it's weak, but still the global markets control. Whereas with Vietnam, Iraq, and other countries that are not market-based, the market does not determine their exchange rates. The central bank controls the falsely suppressing and keeping the value of their currencies down. Just like the example I gave you, Kelly Blue Book, they keep the value, keep the price down so they can make money on the back end. That's all they've been doing. But now in the new system, especially and now with these tariffs and the weakening of the dollar, these countries, they're not attracted to the US dollar anymore. They're forced now, especially through tariffs, to focus on their own currencies. But in order for these countries to not get hit with large deficits as a result of these tariffs that Trump put on them, they have to do something to offset their losses from these tariffs. What is the key way for them to offset the losses? Allow the currencies the rates to be determined by the open market and begin to move up. Because their currency values move up, it offsets. So for example, you have a country that has 20% tariffs on them by the United States. It can cause a 20% deficit to that country. They're not going to depend on the US dollar for the strength anymore, so they have to use their own currency. So what they have to do? Allow the markets to determine the value of their currency. Hence, the floating of their currency rates. Because as those currencies begin to move up, and remember, as of July 1st, Basel III, gold is in the reserves of all these banks. Gold is moving up, and it will move the value of these currencies up. Okay, young lady, independently floating. Now, pay attention, folks. This is where we're going to get into how the exchange rates are determined. So when you hear this, think about all of the years, all of the weeks and times that you've heard all of these different rates that just were pulled out of people's diapers and told you on the internet. Oh, young lady, independent floating rate.
Independent floating. The exchange rate is market determined.
Okay,
With
1 second,
any-
right there.
Mhm.
Hold on 1 second. If you can read that slow, the exchange rate is determined by in-ground assets or market determined?
Market determined.
The exchange rates are determined by Sardani, budget tables, or market determined?
Market determined.
The Chinese elders.
Market determined. Please, Kurdistan.
Mr. CROOK or market determined?
Market determined.
Kurdistan is which one? Is it market? So exchange rates are. Go read that again.
The exchange rate.
Couldn't help it.
The exchange rate is market determined.
So this means the market determines the exchange rate?
Yep.
Is that what? And this is from the IMF. Folks, the International Monetary Fund. These are three major agencies that are the driving forces for the revaluation of currencies. The International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, and the U.S. Treasury. This is one of the three. The International Monetary Fund.
Mm-hmm.
This is from them. This is directly from the actual source. The International Monetary Fund did what's called Article 4 consultations with Iraq, with Vietnam, and every other country in the last 4 to 5 years to prepare them, especially the economies like Iraq and Vietnam, who were lower economies. They prepared them, Vietnam, Iraq, and others. They prepared them with international standards in preparation for what is happening right now. This is directly from the actual source. The exchange rate is market determined when it comes to floats. Go, young lady.
The exchange rate is market determined with any official foreign exchange market intervention aimed at moderating the rate of change and preventing undue fluctuations in the exchange rate, rather than at establishing a level for it.
Now, when it talks about with an official foreign exchange market intervention, meaning intervention by the central bank aimed at moderating the rate of change and preventing overdue fluctuations, that's what's happening right now. The fluctuations as a result of the tariffs. So now it states in the rate of the change and preventing undue fluctuations in the exchange rate rather than and establishing a level for it, meaning a fixed rate. So I'm gonna read this and change the language. So at the end, the exchange rate is market determined. With any official foreign exchange market intervention, central bank, aimed at moderating the rate of change and preventing overdue fluctuations in the exchange rate, rather than or as opposed to and at an established level, meaning at an established or at a fixed rate. There's only two different rates, a fixed rate or a floating rate. Fixed rate or a fluctuating rate. So in a floating regime, the exchange rate is market determined. Not someone saying, oh, my high level sources said, and the rate is X, the rate is Z, the rate is 20, the rate is 15, the rate is 10. Oh, because they got all these in-ground assets and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what the International Monetary Fund says. This is the actual international agency, the global agency that facilitates the mechanisms for these exchange rates with these countries. And they are telling you how the exchange rate is determined by the market. Now we're going to get into what Vietnam is saying about the market for their exchange, for their currency, and for their economy, and also Iraq. Does this make sense to you, young lady?
It sure does.
Okay. The market determines the exchange rate. So that the analogy, I hope that made sense, the analogy that I used with Kelly Blue Book and selling your car. Vietnam was just lowballing their currency so that they can make a nice profit. Nothing wrong with that. That's what they was doing. But currency revaluation is likely to be a priority of this second Trump administration, mainly because of the overvalued contributes to the overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit. A new sheriff in town, he came to level the playing field. All right, so now let's go to Vietnam. Okay, young lady.
The removal of Vietnam's credit quota policy from 2026, aimed at increasing reliance on market forces for exchange rate determination, is a planned policy change.
Okay, 1 second, beloved folks. This is a strategy, a plan. The credit quota. Let me explain what that is. What Vietnam did, the prime minister, as of July last month, he implemented a new policy for the Central Bank of Vietnam for the existence of Vietnam in the banking system. If an international company, investor, an international banking firm wanted to do business in Vietnam, there was a limit on how much that company would be able to access in Vietnam. So it was like a cap, if you will, a credit cap. So the way it works in the finance world is like, let's say if there was a international investor that wanted to invest into Vietnam, and that company wanted to invest $1 billion. Well, Vietnam said, no, you're capped at 500,000 to invest in our economy. I'm using that as an example, but it's a quota, a credit quota. So in essence, what Vietnam has done traditionally, and they did this through trade as well, and this is why Trump hit them and everybody else with these tariffs, they restricted companies from coming in to invest into Vietnam. This was a way for Vietnam to continue to devalue the Vietnamese dong, to continue allowing the dong, pressuring the dong to be lower than its true market value so that they can make more money on the back end, Vietnam, when they export their goods billions and billions daily throughout the world. Well, the prime minister just implemented a new policy to completely remove that so that international investors can flock into Vietnam. And this is another way. See, the market forces, it's supply and demand of the Vietnamese dong and any other currency that will determine the rate. So as these investors flock into Vietnam, they will do business, they will invest, let's say billions. And we have articles showing that there are quadrillions that is being invested into Vietnam right now. Folks, those numbers will be in the Vietnamese dong, not the US dollar. Now, okay, young lady, so you can go ahead and continue. I just wanted to preface that. Go ahead.
Skipping down to,
Yep.
Okay.
In
Can the
conclusion.
Vietnamese dong rise in value before 2026?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible for the Vietnamese dong to experience periods of appreciation against the US dollar before 2026, even with the credit quota still in place.
Mm-hmm.
In conclusion, while the complete removal of credit quotas will happen in 2026, it doesn't mean the dong could not rise in value before then. The exchange rate is influenced by a complex interplay of various domestic and external factors, and a confluence of positive factors could lead to the dong appreciating before the full policy change takes effect.
The reason why Goldilocks said this is because January 2026 is when this goes into effect. But however, Vietnam has already began to implement this. It's just officially in January. However, the reason why Goldilocks is also stating is that where the dong can appreciate in value before this goes into effect on January is because of what's expected to happen next month. In September, when the FTSE Russell is expected to upgrade Vietnam's economy to a emerging market. And for note of reference, it is on October the 7th that it will be announced by the FTSE Russell. So the reason why Goldilocks is highlighting that is possible for the dong to go up in value before this goes into effect is because of that. And then we're going to show you here in a moment exactly what the Vietnamese prime minister put out about allowing the dong to go to the market for its rate. So understand this. This is why Wiley, myself, and Goldilocks has constantly stressed to you all about having a plan in place. And also for you to understand, this is to have your exit strategy. You will have more than one opportunity to exchange your currency. If you want to exchange it all at one time and just disappear, fine. If you want to exchange some, hold some back, and the other half that you haven't exchanged as the rates continue to rise, then you can exchange that. You can have a strategy, but have it structured with your bankers. This is where you will have multiple RVs if you so choose. But for those that are under the impression, and you've been given the impression that you just go in and exchange that one time, and that's it. But you just got to wait for it. You are not prepared. Not prepared in reality, and you're not prepared with facts, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So now, sad. But now let's go ahead. We're going to show you now. And this is why next, when Goldilocks says, you can read that for the Vietnamese dong I'm looking for.
Okay, and I just wanted to say it's so crazy
Go
that
ahead.
the gurus are telling people that they cannot double dip. They're telling people the exact opposite of what's what the reality will soon be about being able, like you just said, multiple RVs, in a sense, for each individual. Whereas you have the gurus telling people, oh, you're going to get in trouble if you go more than once. You're going to get in trouble if you try to, it's just the difference is just so, it's
Fear.
alarming.
See,
It's alarming
yeah.
that they're saying the
It-
exact opposite, polar opposite, actually.
and the thing is, they've been saying it for so long that even though, and of course, we know they're given a script to follow.
Right.
So they get an email blast of what to say. So they're saying what they're told to say.
Of course. They're just
I
setting so
don't.
many people up for failure.
What if that's by design, by the people?
You're right.
So yeah,
You're absolutely right.
So we all have choices, and people may choose to follow that.
Yeah.
So be it. But just think about it.
Mm.
For the folks that follow, listen to that. Those are the ones waiting, based on what they've been told also to wait. But look at you all. You've been given the facts with the actual proof and data of how this works, what's involved, and how to approach it. And then you have your own bankers and relationships that validate everything that Goldilocks and Wiley has been sharing with you all.
Absolutely.
You have receipts. Receipts. Yeah. Unfortunately, people that are listening to the guru fufu, they have nothing but just anxiety and hopes, and it's unfortunate. We'll just pray for them. Wish them the best. All right. Now let's go, folks. We're going to share right here. This is directly from the Prime Minister. We shared the link, and then screenshots from the link, so you don't have to. If you so choose, you don't have to open it up. The link, if you want to, you can, and follow along. But this is now when you see the date 4/7/25. That's not April. The way Vietnam and their art with they post the dates of something. They post the day, then the month, then the year. Whereas here in the U.S., we post the month, the day, and the year. So this is July the 4th, not April the 7th. So this was last month. This came out. All right. The Vietnam Prime Minister demands into credit quotas, which we just read, and push for market reforms. Listen to the first. Now, don't forget. Let me go back up to the IMF that says, independently floating, the exchange rate is determined by market. The exchange rate is market determined. The exchange rate is market determined. Now let's get to what the Prime Minister. Go ahead, young lady. Prime Minister. If you do, Prime Minister Chin. I know you want to chop his name up. Go ahead.
I was about to, because I was so confident too, and that was not what I was going to say. Thank you. Prime Minister Chin has urged the central bank to scrap administrative credit limits and embrace market-based controls.
To embrace what?
Market-based controls.
Okay, so and the IMF says that with a floating exchange rate is determined by the market. So what the Prime Minister just told his central bank is to get rid of the old system, the old way of controlling the value of the Vietnamese dong, and embrace it's folks. And this is not just something that he's saying. This is something they've been doing. They actually changed their laws and constitutions, implemented regulations in order for this to happen already. They did that 3 months ago. Okay, young lady.
The Prime Minister's directive marks a pivotal shift in mindset from administrative command-based management to market-based regulation aligned with international standards.
So like the rest of the world, that all the other countries, not the world, other countries, that their rates are determined by the market. He's saying that what it's saying is that he's given the directive to change the administrative command-based management, meaning they control the rate, and switch to a market-based regulation aligned with international standards. And the language is apropos. The Prime Minister's directive marks a pivotal shift in mindset. Folks, this is a complete shift of Vietnam from how they operated a controlled rate, a controlled environment, restricted from investors being able to come into Vietnam to invest into Vietnam. Because if these investors were able to come into Vietnam, they would have to settle transactions in the Vietnamese dong. Then the Vietnam would have to boost the value of their currency, which they would get less in profit from trade with their exports. But that's the shift. Let's go, young lady. The next one, you can read the next one totally.
Okay. At a national conference between the government and local authorities on July 3rd, 2025, Prime Minister Chin issued a significant reform message. He called on the State Bank of Vietnam to urgently eliminate the use of administrative tools in regulating credit growth.
Urgently eliminate the use of administrative tools and basically folks, this is control. He telling them, all right, we're gonna start playing with this rate. We're gonna start playing and controlling the value. We're gonna stop playing because we want to really open our markets to go into the global markets in the world, so that we can keep up in the new digital banking system, or else we're gonna be left behind. Go ahead. Specifically,
he demanded an end to assigning annual credit growth quotas, known as credit room, to commercial banks. Instead, the SBV should adopt market-based mechanisms with clearly defined safety criteria for credit control.
SBV is the State Bank of Vietnam, folks. That's the central bank of Vietnam. Let's get to the next one. The government, the next screenshot, which is from the article. This is the meat, potatoes, and the gravy and the cheesecake. Go ahead.
Yum. Why would I do that? The government is aiming to build an enabling state, a fully functional market economy, and a modern legal framework.
A fully functional market economy. So they want their currency, want economy to be open. They're doing it. Yeah, market just for the dog to go out into the world, for it to be able to move and flow, but that's into Vietnam's market. You're going to see sharing about TS, other investors. They anticipate happening next month. Next month and down October the 7th, the flood will open for investors in Vietnam. Good, young lady. Can you? You, sir? Okay, I will read this. All right, so continuing the quota-based petition grant system risk derailing the goal of modernizing the banking sector. Removing credit quotas doesn't mean relaxing credit control. It means changing how control is exercised. Remember, they controlled, the central bank of Vietnam controlled the Vietnamese dong's rate. So this is saying they're changing that. They're changing it from administrative command and control to market discipline. Here we go, market again. So this is telling you that they're changing it from the control that they've done to administrative command to the market discipline, from arbitrary limits to standard-based governance, from favoritism to fair competition. This is a vital reform. You back?
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. It's storming here. So my Wi-Fi is going in and out. So I had to disconnect from it. So I'm
No
good
problem.
now.
No problem. You can start at this is a vital reform.
Okay. This is a vital reform that could unlock capital flows for the economy,
Capital
enhance
flows.
monetary.
1 second, beloved.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Capital flows, folks. This is the money, the moolah, the dinero. This is money will be flocking in billions, just like Trump and his companies broke ground a few months ago. All these wealthy companies or corporations, they're going to be flocking to Vietnam and all of this manufacturing. So this is where we showed you, I'm sure you remember, because you ran the Googles, the Apples, the Walmarts, the
Yes.
Samsungs, the Amazons, all of them. They're flocking to Vietnam. They're doing business, all this manufacturing, construction, building, all that will be settled in the Vietnamese dong, and then through trade on the water, all the Vietnamese dong. This is where supply and demand comes in and then the currency will be on the open market for the market to determine the rate. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. This is a vital reform that could unlock capital flows for the economy, enhance monetary policy effectiveness, and drive sustainable development in Vietnam's financial markets. Mm-hmm. Eliminating credit quotas would mark a significant milestone on Vietnam's path to a modern market economy, something the country has long sought international recognition for.
Mm-hmm. This is what they've wanted. This is why even the prime minister asked President Trump on the day that he called President Trump to negotiate the tariff deal. He says, can you please recognize us as a market economy? Well, when y'all think about it, folks, even though Trump hasn't announced it, there's different ways, there's different avenues where Vietnam will have market recognition from the stock market, anticipated by the FTSE Russell in September. Then also the MSCI in a couple of years, which is going to be another opportunity for the value of their currency to go up again. Then if President Trump eventually recognizes them as a market economy, that's the again. I think I need to buy me some more dong.
I was just thinking about that.
It's going to be, folks, but no matter what you have, there's going to be opportunities. These rates, the anticipation is for floats to occur. Float on. There's going to be plenty. There's going to be opportunity. This is where your exit strategy is going to come in that Wiley has so intelligently told you all to have in place and get in place. This is the importance of having your relationships, folks.
Yeah.
Which with the bankers telling you. All right, now. Let's go to Iraq. Let's go to Iraq and see what is Iraq doing related to anything related to the market. Now, folks, Iraq is a little different. Iraq has made it very clear and in writing, and we've shown it. We've shown it before directly from Iraq, where they will come out at a fixed rate. The CBI told Goldilocks and ND directly that they will come out with a fixed rate. See, this is in the language we just read a few minutes ago about the opposite of the floating rate is a level. What IMF mentions is a level rate or a level control. That's just talking about a fixed rate. So Iraq will come out with a fixed rate. Now, let me explain. That does not mean that they'll come out with a fixed rate and it will stay there consistently. That just means that their base rate, they'll have a base rate at a fixed rate. Now, if you so choose to have exit strategies with your dinar strategy, that's fine too. That's your business. but it's not as if it's expected that the dinar would not just come out at a rate and stay there forever, because there's so much that's going to be changing with the markets.
Yeah.
And so many adjustments that are going to be made. Gold is going to continue to go up in value, which will continuously influence the rates of these currencies. Cryptos, they're going to continue to go up, which will also influence the value of these currencies. So sad. So many of you that have been listening to, I call them, different puppet names, because that's what they are, puppets. But they've been, you don't realize, folks, if you've been listening to the garbage and the guru foo-foo, it very well might be intentional that it's by design to steer you wrong. I believe a lot of the gurus don't know. I think a lot of them don't know.
Right.
They don't know. All right. The strategic partnership.
The strategic partnership as trader in on August 25 aims to honor our trading infrastructure, introducing advanced trading technologies and expanding access to global markets.
Okay. Just say something.
Mm-hmm.
Mark.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this is a new to for exchange. You'll see. See what's talking about.
This collaboration primarily focusing trading capability, equities, commodities, implicating our currency exchange, and establishing stable exchange rate but significant.
Okay. Now we took on partner helps. One, and you know which ones. Two.
Okay. All right. How the partnership helps our exchange and exchange rate. Number one, improve trading infrastructure, market content. Advanced trading platforms. Not going to what do?
Yeah, you should do that.
The partnership introduces state-of-the-art trading platform, offer real-time market data,
Market data?
Market right.
Tell
Market is the word of size, which offer real-time market data, advanced charting tools, and seamless order execution. These tools enhance transparency and efficiency in Iraq's financial markets, which can indirectly support currency stability by fostering investor confidence.
Investor confidence. So here we have. Now, investors will be able to electronically access Iraq's markets, unlike before. Same thing that Vietnam was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Impact on currency exchange rate, and you can read that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Impact on currency exchange. A more robust and transparent trading environment can attract foreign investment, increasing demand for the Iraqi dinar. Greater confidence in Iraq's financial system may reduce reliance on parallel currency markets, where exchange rates are often volatile and driven by speculation. This aligns with Iraq's central bank's efforts to reinforce official exchange rates as the benchmark for economic activities.
Mm-hmm. Exchange rate stability.
Exchange rate stability. By modernizing trading infrastructure, the partnership supports the government's vision to align Iraq's financial markets with international standards.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me. A stable and transparent market reduces speculative pressures on the dinar, potentially narrowing the gap between official and parallel exchange rates. For instance, recent reports indicate the parallel market is beginning to follow the official market, a trend that could be reinforced by improved market infrastructure. Enhanced market access and diversification. broader financial instruments.
Mhm.
The partnership enables investors to access a wider range of financial instruments, including global equities, bonds, and commodities.
This is all in Iraq, where these investors would be able to access financial instruments in the Iraqi market, which will increase the demand for the Iraqi dinar, which will strengthen the Iraqi dinar, folks. This is unprecedented. This is the first time it's ever happened in Iraq. Go ahead. This
Wow.
diversification.
This diversification can reduce Iraq's economic dependence on oil, a key driver of currency volatility due to fluctuating global oil prices.
That's very important, folks, because 90% of Iraq's revenue comes from oil. That is not, it's good for them, but not good for their overall economy because they're not diversified.
Yeah.
They have all the eggs in one basket, the oil basket. So now with this new exchange platform that they just went live with, announced on August the 10th, now investors from all over the world will be able to access Iraq's global markets, meaning all of the different, there are various financial instruments. See, and these investors, they know the potential value of the Iraqi economy and the Iraqi dinar, as you know, they know what's coming. They want to invest big time into Iraq, just like investors are doing in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can continue.
Impact on currency exchange. Increased access to global markets may facilitate foreign currency inflows as international investors engage with Iraq's financial markets.
Mm-hmm.
This could strengthen the dinar's demand and support the Central Bank of Iraq's efforts to stabilize the exchange rate through regulated channels.
Mm-hmm.
Exchange rate stability. Diversifying Iraq's financial markets reduce reliance on dollar-based oil revenues, which are subject to external shocks, like the U.S. sanctions on neighboring countries like Syria and Iran. A more diversified economy can help stabilize the dinar by reducing external pressures on its value.
So all this is doing, folks, is Iraq is another way to prepare the Iraqi banking system and the Iraqi dinar to be in line with exactly what Vietnam just stated that they're getting in alignment with, which is international standards. There are new standards for the whole entire banking system. They're just like the credit valuation adjustments that were posted in January that Goldilocks mentioned last year that was going to go live, which are standards for all of the central banks around the world to follow. So this is a global orchestrated event, not in the sense that all countries go at one time at the flip of a switch. No, that's not what orchestrated event means. The orchestrated event, folks, is a new digital banking system where all of these countries are connected to. And there was a forcing, if I should say. There was a forcing of action in order for these countries to sugar honey iced tea or get off the pot. That was tariffs.
Mm-hmm.
That was tariffs. And that is why, as it says, currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of the potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit. But weakening of the dollar could have other far-reaching consequences. Folks, this is what it all comes down to, is to forcing a shock to the global banking system, was the tariffs. So I hope this made sense to. I know it made sense to you. Where is Sniper? If you could unmute, are you able to chime in here, Sniper? I want to ask you a quick question, if you're able to, mic in. I don't know. I know this is off the cuff and it's spontaneous.
Oh, yeah,
You
he's
might.
on.
Hey, what's up, Freedom? How you doing? Sorry about that. I was on a phone call.
Oh, no, that's all right. I know this is spontaneous. Sniper, I would love for you to share your infinite wisdom and feedback on what you just heard. Oh, but you're on a phone call. You probably weren't able to.
No, I got a lot. I got a bunch of them from Vietnam, and I knew where you were going with Iraq. Language is everything. When you're looking at some of these things that are being presented, especially tonight, you're seeing it from the International Monetary Fund.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling you in black and white, bold language that it's a market-based economy, market-based structure. They dictate what the floating rate is, and Vietnam is using it several times in that article. I found that article right after you posted that screenshot.
Oh man, I know you got it on your laptop, your iPad, your phone, on the TV. You got it all over the house.
Hey, look, I had to pull it up because I was looking at that. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see this article posted. Let me go find it. And then you turn around.
You're right. That is it. Because you're right. This dude. That's why I call him. Because Goldilocks didn't post this article. No, he don't miss. Goldilocks did not post this article. We knew about it, and I just, we shared it tonight. But Goldilocks didn't post it, so he didn't see it. I missed this bull. You don't miss. He doesn't miss. Go ahead.
So I had about 4 days with this article, and then when I read what was posted about the Zag trader and Carmel brokers, that's the same exact language what is used exactly from the IMF. I mean, it really doesn't get any clearer than that. I mean, if these big institutions are telling you, these companies are telling you, like Zigzag Trader are telling you, and then you have Vietnam telling you the same thing. I mean, it really doesn't get any clearer.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll dissect this article, and the screenshots are there, but the article for those screenshots is right above it. I'm sure you'll be able to you'll dissect it later on your own time. But it's amazing because it clearly, in fact, there's other parts of the article, Sniper, that we didn't share in the screenshots because it's a little lengthy. But it talks about in that article going from the old system of how they control the rate of the dong. It's not using that language, but that's what it's referencing. Going from the old to the new system, which is the market-based system. It actually talks about it in that article too.
Amazing.
Yeah, in fact,
that is absolutely amazing. I wonder if those secret sources might have known that already.
In fact, what I'm going to do, we got a few moments. I'm going to screenshot what I'm talking about. In fact, let me pull it up right now. And it talks about the outdated administrative tool. They're saying that they're getting rid of it. I'm just going to quickly, because it's outdated. It's old. It doesn't align with the new international standards.
Especially when you have all of these different countries and different investors coming in ready to pour into their countries. They would not be able to do that with an outdated system at all. These companies didn't pull up until now, if we all notice. So they didn't pull up until now. So that's a clear indicator. Like they said, boosting investor confidence. It sure boosted mine because I'm sure heading out tomorrow and buying me some more.
Did you see what I just posted into the room? That's the old system I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Outdated, getting out of the outdated system, because folks, the outdated old banking system, it cannot exist in the new asset-based banking system, whereby gold and other assets will roll and be the anchor to. In fact, okay. Oh, know what? We got time to read this. This is. Oh, I'm glad we Peculiar Ram. What I would love for you to do.
Yes.
Let's open this article and go down to and Sniper. This is going to talk about market economy again. Go down to where it says a timely moment for reform.
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, that last link that we posted, right?
I'll post it into the room.
Yeah, can you please? Because I think I clicked the wrong link. I'm sorry.
You good? I just posted it. There you go. It's right there.
Oh, perfect.
Now it gets into more detail of market of. Oh, I love it.
It started at where you said?
A timely moment for reform. That section. So, folks, this is from the.
Okay.
Folks, this is the screenshots. This is from the same article. I just took some parts of it and just shared it with you, but this is a part of it as well that I didn't share. But since we got a few moments here, let's go. Let's get into it. The Prime Minister hasn't. Okay.
The Prime Minister has instructed the SBV to present a plan to eliminate credit quotas by July 2025, a specific deadline reflecting the government's resolve. This timing is ripe for reform. Vietnam's economy is recovering post-pandemic and undergoing restructuring, demanding abundant and flexible capital.
Ooh, they said restructuring and demanding. Their market is demanding abundant and flexible capital. The floodgates are going to open in Vietnam with investors, which will raise the demand of the Vietnamese dong. Go ahead.
Vietnamese banks now have stronger capital bases and better risk management.
And that comes from Basel III, folks. Vietnam's banks now have stronger capital bases and better risk management. That's because of Basel III. And actually, in this same article up above, it talks about Basel III. But we're not going to get into that because it's too much. But go ahead.
The government is aiming to build an enabling state, a fully functional market economy, and a modern legal framework.
A fully functional what?
A fully functional market economy.
That's what they're building. Go ahead.
Continuing the quota-based petition grant system risks derailing the goal of modernizing the banking sector.
So what they're saying is if they were continue with the old system, the petition grant, the credit system, it would derail the modernizing of their banking sector. It would derail their whole entire economy if they continue. That's why the Prime Minister said to the Central Bank of Vietnam, we have a mindset shift. And he demanded the change immediately. That goes into effect January 2026. But they're already moving. That's just formality. That's just formality. It's already in motion. Go ahead.
Removing credit quotas doesn't mean relaxing credit control. It means changing how control is exercised.
That's key. Removing credit quotas doesn't mean relaxing control. It means changing how control is exercised. See, they're not going to completely relinquish control. They're just going to manage the control of the rate as it floats. Because if they just let it go to just float on, it could derail their economy as well, because it's not. It'll be too soon to just allow their rate to just go to straight to $10 or $15 or whatever these guru foo stanky breath gurus been telling y'all. It doesn't even make sense. An economy would not even function. Vietnam, for example, can't function with a 15, 10, whatever rate. That's just stuff to get you all clicking. Clickbait. It doesn't make dollars and it don't make sense.
Right.
Go ahead, young lady.
From administrative commands to market discipline.
To market. Here we go. Market. You said the word. You said it's market.
Yep. Market.
Mm-hmm.
From arbitrary limits to standard-based governance, from favoritism to fair competition.
Because the favoritism, folks, was just within Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
There was no fair competition of their currency. There was no fair competition of their rates and their economy to allow other investors to come in to flood into Vietnam. It wasn't fair. They didn't allow it. The favoritism was for only Vietnamese banks, only Vietnamese investment firms. That was favoritism. Now they're opening up to fair competition. All of you big investors around the world, come on into Vietnam. We've changed our laws, we changed our constitution. We want to be a part of the open global market. So we're going to let y'all in so we can be a part of it. Go, young lady.
This is a vital reform that could unlock capital flows for the economy, enhance monetary policy effectiveness, and drive sustainable development in Vietnam's financial markets.
And this sustainable development, folks, this is money into their financial markets. Let me give you an example. We have the numbers. With Vietnam's stock market in the year 2000, 25 years ago, Vietnam had only 3,000 investors in their stock market. 3,000. For those of you who numbers really spark your interest, in the year 2000, 25 years ago, only 3,000 investors in Vietnam's stock market. As of last month, Vietnam's stock market has over 10 million.
Wow.
And that is in the old system without allowing foreign investors to come in. That's restricted. 10 million.
Mm.
Just imagine they're now removing these restrictions and allowing the Googles, the Apples, the Amazons, the Walmarts, the so forth and so on come in to flood into Vietnam. All of the business and transactions will be in the Vietnamese dong. It's not going to be in the US dollar because these countries, they're moving away from the US dollar because the US dollar is getting weaker. All by design. By your good old president, the orange man. Go ahead, continue.
Eliminating credit quotas would mark a significant milestone on Vietnam's path to a modern market economy.
Mm-hmm.
Something the country has long sought international recognition for.
Says it all.
They ready.
That says it all. All right. Is Tam Tam, are you still here? If you can, unmute. Let's get you. And let's get you. If you're still here. Tam Tam, there you go, young lady. Tam Tam, you can unmute.
Yes, hello.
Have you been following?
I have.
What's your take?
Just like you said, I need to get some more dong for sure. I was just thinking about that, and it's funny because I have been planning, like, since I'm in school, I get that beautiful college kickback every term, and I've already been planning on buying some, but now I think I'm gonna change the amount that I buy.
Okay, leave it there. We don't want you to put your business out there, but okay,
I
sounds
ain't
good.
putting nothing out there. Just
Okay,
it's definitely fun.
All right, great job again on everything you're doing with your bankers. Continue the great work, young lady. Continue the great work.
We'll do. Thank you.
All right. And the babyface assassin didn't make it on tonight. We'll catch up with him. That's Flopper Jopper. Looks like Wiley, you
That
still here? Did you want to add anything? Take us home, get us out of here, Wiley. If you're able to unmute, if you're, I don't know what
No, I'm all good, Freedom. Thank
you're
you.
all good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, beautiful folks. We are going to get out of here. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Just folks, get your affairs in order, get your relationships established. Coming to the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room Monday through Wednesday, 10 to 4. And also, if you're on YouTube, click the link at the top of the description. You can join the Goldilocks QFS Dialogues room. Folks, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Get the word out. Be a blessing to someone else. Everyone have a good night. We love you. Everyone take care. Ciao, ciao.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the number one source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.